There are some insults that cut so deep, they don't just hurt, they change you. For me, that moment came at Thanksgiving dinner, in front of my entire family, when my sister looked across the table and said the words that would flip her perfect life upside down. But let me start from the beginning, because this story isn't just about one cruel moment, it's about a lifetime of being second best, and the day I finally stopped apologizing for who I was. My name is Rachel Bennett, and I'm 34 years old. I'm a research scientist at a biotech firm in San Francisco. I have a PhD in molecular biology. I've published papers in respected journals, and I'm working on treatments that could genuinely help people. My work matters, my life matters. But to my family, none of that ever seemed to count. You see, I have a sister. Her name is Ashley, and she's 2 years younger than me. Ashley is what my parents always called the complete package. She's conventionally pretty, married her college sweetheart when she was 25, had 2 kids by 30, and lives in a beautiful suburban house with a white picket fence. She's never had a career. Never wanted one. Her husband, Brad, is a real estate developer who makes good money, and Ashley's entire identity revolves around being a wife and mother. Which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that choice. What's wrong is how my family treats that choice as superior to mine. Every family gathering, it's the same script. My mom asks Ashley about the kids, about Brad, about their latest vacation. My dad talks to Brad about investments and business. They coo over photos and stories. And me? I get the pity questions, still working those long hours. Rachel, any prospects on the dating front? You know, if you just put yourself out there more. Your biological clock is ticking, honey. It's like my accomplishments are invisible. My PhD? That's nice, dear. But when are you going to settle down? My research? Sounds complicated. Don't you want something more fulfilling? As if discovering potential cancer treatments isn't fulfilling. As if my life is somehow incomplete because I don't have a husband and kids. I've learned to tune it out over the years. Smile, nod, change the subject. But this Thanksgiving was different. I'd been invited to my parents' house in Connecticut, same as always. Ashley and Brad were there with their kids, 7-year-old Connor and 5-year-old Mia. My Aunt Susan and Uncle Tom came too, along with my cousin Derek and his new wife. The house smelled like turkey and cinnamon. Football played on TV. Everything looked picture perfect, like something out of a magazine. We sat down for dinner, and that's when it started. My mom, serving mashed potatoes, turned to me with that sympathetic look I've come to hate. So Rachel, any updates? Are you seeing anyone? I sighed internally. No, Mom, I'm focused on work right now. We're in the middle of some really exciting trials. Oh, honey, she actually patted my hand, like I was a child. You can't let work consume your whole life. You need balance. Look at Ashley, she has it all figured out. Ashley smiled, that smug smile I've seen 1,000 times. It's not that hard, Rachel. You just have to make relationships a priority. I mean, I met Brad in college and we made it work. Maybe you're just too picky? I bit my tongue. Or maybe I'm just focused on my career right now. My dad chimed in. Career is important, Rachel, but you don't want to wake up at 40 with nothing but a lab coat and regrets. Nothing but regrets. As if my life's work was worthless. I felt the familiar burn in my chest, but I pushed it down. I'm happy with my choices. That's when Ashley said it. The thing that broke the camel's back. She leaned back in her chair, wine glass in hand, and looked at me with what I can only describe as pity mixed with superiority. Rachel, let's be honest. You're 34 and still single. Don't you think it's time to admit that maybe the problem is you? Maybe you're just not relationship material? Some women are meant to be wives and mothers, and some women are just meant to work. And that's okay. You shouldn't feel bad about being alone. It's just who you are. The table went quiet. Everyone stared at their plates. No one defended me. My parents said nothing. My aunt suddenly became fascinated with her napkin. Ashley continued, her voice dripping with false concern. I'm just trying to help you accept reality. You've been single for what, 3 years now? After that guy who left you? Maybe it's time to stop pretending Prince Charming is coming and just embrace being the career woman, the spinster aunt. Someone has to play that role. Spinster aunt. Career woman as an insult. not relationship material. Something inside me snapped. Not broke, snapped, like a rubber band that had been stretched too far for too long. I set down my fork very carefully, looked Ashley dead in the eye, and smiled. You know what, Ashley? You're absolutely right. I should accept reality. And while we're on the topic of reality, there's something I think everyone should know. Ashley's smile faltered slightly. What? I'm not single. The table went silent for a different reason now. What do you mean you're not single? My mother's voice was confused. I took a sip of wine, enjoying the moment. I mean, I've been in a relationship for 2 years. A very serious relationship. I just never mentioned it because, honestly, I didn't think you'd care. You never ask about my life, you just assume it's empty. Ashley's face was turning red. 2 years? Why wouldn't you tell us? Because every time I try to talk about my life, I get interrupted with questions about why I'm still single or comments about my biological clock, so I stopped sharing. My dad frowned. Well, who is he? What does he do? I smiled wider. His name is Dr. James Chen. He's a cardiothoracic surgeon at UCSF Medical Center. We met at a medical conference 3 years ago, started dating seriously 2 years ago, and actually, I paused for effect. We got engaged 3 months ago. I pulled the ring out from under my sweater where I'd been wearing it on a chain, a beautiful sapphire surrounded by diamonds. I'd hidden it because I hadn't wanted to deal with my family's drama. But now I was done hiding. The room exploded. My mother's mouth was hanging open. Engaged? 3 months ago? Rachel, how could you not tell us? I slipped the ring onto my finger where it belonged. How could I, Mom? Every single time I visit, all I hear about is how sad my life is, how I'm missing out, how I need to be more like Ashley. Why would I share something important with people who clearly think I'm a failure? My Aunt Susan spoke up. Rachel, that's not fair. We love you. Do you? I interrupted. Because it doesn't feel like love when every conversation is about what I'm lacking instead of what I've achieved. I have a PhD. I'm working on potentially life-saving treatments. I have a career I'm passionate about. But none of that matters to this family because I don't have a husband and kids. Ashley was sputtering. You lied to us. You let us think you were alone. I didn't lie. I just didn't correct your assumptions. There's a difference. I looked at her directly. And Ashley, since we're talking about reality and being honest, let me share something else with you. Her eyes narrowed. What? I know about Brad. The color drained from her face. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the affair, the one he's been having for the past 8 months with his secretary, Jennifer. The one you've been pretending doesn't exist because you can't stand the thought of your perfect life falling apart. The table went dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Brad's face went pale. Ashley looked like she'd been slapped. How? Ashley started, but her voice broke. How do I know? Because 6 months ago, I was at a restaurant in the city for a work dinner. I saw Brad there with a woman who definitely wasn't you. They were holding hands, kissing. And before you ask, yes, I'm absolutely sure it was him. I even have photos because my colleague thought I might need proof. I pulled out my phone, scrolled through, and showed them a picture I'd taken that night. Brad and a blonde woman, clearly intimate, at a corner table. Ashley's hands were shaking. You knew for 6 months and didn't tell me? I tried to tell you, I said quietly. I called you the next day, said I needed to talk about something important. You said you were too busy with the kids, that I always made everything about me, and that you didn't have time for my drama, so I stopped trying. Tears were streaming down Ashley's face now. Brad looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. My dad stood up. Rachel, this is not appropriate dinner conversation. Really, Dad? It wasn't appropriate when Ashley called me a spinster and said I'm not relationship material? It wasn't appropriate when Mom pitied me for being single? But somehow it's inappropriate when I defend myself and tell the truth? My mother was crying now too. Rachel, we didn't mean we were just worried about you. No, Mom, you weren't worried about me. You were embarrassed by me, because I don't fit your idea of what a successful woman looks like. I don't have the husband and the kids and the suburban house. So you decided my life must be sad and empty. I stood up, grabbing my purse. But here's what you never bothered to learn about my empty life. James and I are building something real. He respects my work. He celebrates my achievements. He doesn't make me feel like I'm less than because I prioritize my career. And when we get married next spring, yes, we've already set a date. We're doing it our way. Small ceremony. Close friends. People who actually value us. I looked around the table. You're all invited, of course. But don't expect to play some big role in planning it. You lost that privilege when you spent years making me feel like I wasn't enough. Ashley was sobbing openly now. Rachel, please. Ashley, I hope you figure out what you want to do about Brad. I genuinely do. But I'm done being your punching bag. I'm done being the cautionary tale you use to make yourself feel better about your choices. I grabbed my coat and walked toward the door. My dad called after me. Rachel, don't leave like this. We're family. I turned back one last time. Family doesn't treat each other the way you've treated me. Family celebrates each other's successes instead of mourning their differences. Maybe figure that out before the wedding. And I walked out. I drove back to San Francisco that night, instead of staying over like I'd planned. Called James from the car, told him everything. He was furious on my behalf, proud of me for standing up for myself, and reminded me of exactly why I loved him. You deserve better than that, he said. You always have. The next few days were chaos. My phone exploded with messages. My mother called 17 times, left voicemails crying, saying she didn't understand why I was being so cruel, that she'd always loved me, that I was tearing the family apart. My dad sent long emails about how disappointed he was in my behavior, how I'd embarrassed everyone, how I owed Ashley an apology for bringing up her marriage problems in public. Ashley sent a single text. I hope you're happy. You ruined Thanksgiving and my marriage. Thanks for nothing, big sister. The only person who didn't reach out was Brad, probably too busy panicking about damage control. But here's the thing, I wasn't happy. I was exhausted, sad, angry, relieved, all at once. I'd finally stood up for myself, but it felt like I'd lost my family in the process. And even though they'd treated me terribly, they were still my family. That loss hurt. James held me while I cried that weekend. Let me process everything. Didn't try to fix it or tell me what to do. Just listened. Do you regret it? He asked Sunday night. I thought about it. Really thought about it. No. I regret that it had to happen this way. But I don't regret defending myself. Good, he said. Because you did nothing wrong. They hurt you for years, and when you finally called them on it, they got defensive. That's on them, not you. 2 weeks later, things started to shift. My Aunt Susan called, not to yell, to apologize. Rachel, I've been thinking about what you said. And you're right. We did treat you differently. We did prioritize Ashley's choices over yours. I'm ashamed that I didn't see it before. I'm sorry. It wasn't much, but it was something. Then my cousin Derek reached out. I always admired your work, you know. I think what you're doing is incredible. I'm sorry if I never said it enough. Small gestures, but they mattered. The big shift came 3 weeks after Thanksgiving. My mother showed up at my apartment unannounced. I almost didn't let her in. But curiosity won. She stood in my living room, looking smaller than I remembered. Older, tired. I owe you an apology, she said quietly. A real one. Not one where I make excuses or blame you for overreacting. A real apology. I crossed my arms, waited. Your father and we had a very traditional view of what success looks like. Marriage, kids, family. And when you chose a different path, we didn't know how to support that. So we kept pushing you toward what we knew, what we understood. That's not an excuse, I said. No, it's not. It's an explanation. And it's not good enough. She wiped her eyes. Rachel, you've accomplished extraordinary things. Things I don't fully understand. But things I should have celebrated anyway. You're brilliant. You're dedicated. You're making a real difference in the world. And I'm so sorry that I made you feel like that wasn't enough. My throat tightened. I just wanted you to be proud of me. Just once. I am proud of you. Her voice broke. I always have been. I just didn't show it. I didn't know how. And I'm sorry. We cried together. Talked for hours. It wasn't perfect. Years of hurt don't heal in one conversation. But it was a start. She asked about James. Really asked. Not out of obligation, but genuine interest. I showed her pictures. Told her about how we met. What he was like. Our plans for the future. For the first time in years, my mother listened to my life without comparing it to Ashley's. "What about Ashley?" I asked eventually. "How is she?" My mother sighed. "Not good. She and Brad are in counseling. The affair was worse than we thought. It had been going on for over a year, not 8 months. Ashley's devastated. She's questioning everything." I felt a pang of sympathy despite everything. I didn't want to hurt her. I just wanted her to stop hurting me. "I know. And maybe she needed to hear it. She'd been using you as a comparison to make herself feel better about her own problems. That wasn't fair to you." The months that followed were a journey. Slowly, painfully, my family and I started to rebuild. My dad apologized too, though it took him longer. Admitted he'd been wrong to dismiss my career. Started actually asking about my research, trying to understand it, even when it went over his head. Ashley and I had a long, hard conversation in February. She was separated from Brad, living back with our parents temporarily while she figured things out. "I was jealous of you," she admitted. "You always seemed so sure of yourself, so confident in your choices. Meanwhile, I've spent my entire adult life trying to be perfect, trying to prove I made the right choices. And when everything started falling apart with Brad, I couldn't handle it, so I lashed out at you. You called me a spinster," I said bluntly. She flinched. "I know. And I'm so sorry. That was cruel. You didn't deserve that." "No, I didn't. Can you forgive me? Eventually?" I thought about it. "Maybe. But it's going to take time, Ashley. You can't undo years of comparisons and insults with one apology." "I know. But I want to try. If you'll let me." We weren't close again. Not yet. But we were civil, respectful. It was something. James and I got married in April, just like we'd planned. Small ceremony in wine country. 40 people. Close friends. James's family, who'd embraced me from day one. And yes, my family came. All of them. My parents walked me down the aisle together. Both crying. Both trying. Ashley came alone. She and Brad had officially filed for divorce by then. She hugged me before the ceremony. "You look beautiful. And happy. That's all I should have ever wanted for you." The wedding was perfect. Not because it was fancy or elaborate, but because it was ours. Every detail reflected who we were as a couple. Our values, our love. During my vows, I looked at James and said, "You've never once made me feel like I have to choose between my career and being loved. You celebrate all of me, the scientist, the workaholic, the messy, complicated person I am. You make me feel seen." He squeezed my hands. "That's because you are seen. Always." At the reception, my mother pulled me aside. "I understand now why you didn't tell us about him right away. Why you protected this relationship from us. And I'm glad you did. You deserve to have something that was just yours, without our judgment." "Thanks, Mom. But Rachel? From now on, I want to know about your life. The real stuff. Not just the big milestones. I want to understand who you are. Will you let me try?" I hugged her. "Yeah, I will." It's been a year since that Thanksgiving. A year since I finally stood up for myself and stopped accepting being treated as less than. Life looks different now. James and I are building our life together. I'm still doing my research, actually. We just got approval to move into the next phase of trials, which is huge. James just made senior attending at the hospital. My relationship with my family isn't perfect, but it's honest. My parents make an effort now. They ask about my work. They visit and actually seem interested in our life. They're learning. Ashley and I text occasionally. She's in therapy, working through everything that happened with Brad and examining the choices she made. She got a part-time job at a nonprofit. Says it's nice to have an identity outside of being someone's wife or mother. We're not best friends. Maybe we never will be, but we're not enemies either. The other day, she texted me, "Thank you for telling the truth that day. I was so angry at you, but you woke me up, made me see I was living a lie. It hurt like hell, but I needed it." I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that until I read it. Here's what I learned from all of this. You can't control how people see you. You can't force them to value what you value or respect your choices. But you can control how you respond when they don't. For years, I accepted being diminished, being compared, being made to feel less than. I told myself it was easier to just take it, to keep the peace, to not make waves. But keeping the peace at the cost of your self-worth isn't peace, it's surrender. Standing up for yourself doesn't make you cruel or selfish. It makes you honest. And sometimes, that honesty is exactly what everyone needs, even if they don't realize it at first. My family spent years treating my accomplishments as less important because they didn't fit their definition of success. But success isn't one size fits all. There's no single right way to live a meaningful life. Some people find fulfillment in marriage and family. Others find it in career and passion projects. Most of us find it in some combination of things that are uniquely ours. The key is respecting everyone's path, not just the ones that look like your own. So, if you're watching this and you've been made to feel like your choices aren't valid, like your life isn't enough because it doesn't match someone else's vision, I want you to hear this. Your life is yours. Your choices are valid. Your path is worthy. Don't spend years apologizing for being who you are. Don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Don't hide your happiness because others might not understand it. Stand up, speak your truth, set your boundaries. The people who truly love you will rise to meet you there. And the ones who don't, they were never celebrating you anyway. I'm Dr. Rachel Chen now, scientist, wife, sister, daughter, all of it. None of it conflicting. And I'm finally enough. Moral asterisk asterisk asterisk. Your worth isn't determined by how well you fit someone else's definition of success. The right people will celebrate your choices, not diminish them. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and others is to stop accepting less than you deserve. Asterisk.